How do you feel about maniacs? Obviously, negatively. These are the bastards who ruin other people's lives. They will rot in prison for the rest of their days. All right. And to the children of maniacs, that's where it's not so clear anymore, right? On the one hand, they can be absolutely normal people. For example, if the child did not even grow up to such parents. And if he grew up. After all, the upbringing of a maniac cannot be normal. And today I'm going to tell you a very interesting story. There will be a lot of mysteries and creepy moments in it, no less. Detective drama, everyday life, psychology, seinen, thriller, erotica, revenge of violence, cruelty. Everything is as we like it. So sit back and get ready. Meet Eiji, an ordinary guy who drinks with his friends and in the company of girls admits that he is a virgin. And in the morning, he wakes up with an unknown girl in his bed. Eiji is completely fucked up because she doesn't remember how it happened at all. This is Kika. She is a top beauty from Eiji's university, and the guy is over the moon with happiness. Although they didn't have sex, even a simple kiss on the cheek gives the hero a fierce buzz. How did it all work out? Fuck knows, Eiji decides not to sweat. But the oddities don't end there. At the university, Kiji is approached by the main bully Urashima. And he bows in front of the guy, saying that he is ready to help him with any problems if anything. Moreover, Urashima, apparently, recently got a pussy. Clarity is brought by the best friend of the hero Kashiwagi. The fact is that it was Eiji who gave Urashima pussy. And not only that, he did it to protect Keku. That's why she started dating him. That's just what happened 3 days ago. Today is the 27th of October. Yes, it just so happened that the events of the last 3 days completely flew out of Eiji's head. He assumes that he was endowed with some kind of superpower that allows him to beat bullies and sleep with girls. I don't want to upset him, of course, but what's even more strange, a certain Rei is following the guy. She stares at him in silence and then says, "This is a normal Eiji." Lesson, the hero returns home with a cupcake and she asks him to spend the night again, as if he would mind. It is also necessary to buy condoms in the store, otherwise, well, this is the most, you never know what suddenly. The guys are having fun when suddenly a man approaches them. He introduces himself as a reporter. He begins to ask the hero ordinary questions like, where do you live? Is it true that he got into a fight recently? Eiji is very uncomfortable and it's not for nothing. Please, I'm begging, not today. Are you his girlfriend? Hey, stop. That's enough. Have you told her about it yet? No. Wait. Hey Jay, what's up? Calm down. Not in front of her. About what you are. That's enough. Anything. Not that. Don't tell me. The son of a serial killer. Have you heard about the killer called? Innocent girls like you disappeared one by one. Only their mutilated bodies were found. He was nicknamed. That's who his father is. The killer nicknamed Hotino and Makoto, the son of a serial maniac, are unworthy of a fraction of ordinary human happiness. But Kiko was not disappointed in the guy, but on the contrary sent the reporter to fuck. Because did he fuck up to get to people like that? If Eiji's father was a maniac, it doesn't mean that Eiji himself is a bad person. The lowered reporter walks away. Akioka admits to the hero that she already knew all this. After all, there are rumors about a guy at the university, but it doesn't bother her in any way. Parents don't choose. The guy, realizing how golden the girl got to him, already burst into tears. And here are Eiji's foster parents. He tells them about his girlfriend. Rei continues to follow the guy, but now she has begun to say all sorts of mysterious oddities that defy the mind of an adequate person. And besides, she points out to Eiji that he is the son of a serial killer. The police found a mutilated corpse in the woods, and the girl assigned to investigate the case notices that the body is mutilated in the same way as L did 15 years ago. Had he come back? Perhaps it's worth telling you in more detail about this. L is one of the most famous and bloodthirsty killers. Since childhood, he was not like everyone else. He committed his first murder already at the age of 14, and already at 21, he killed 4 female students. And not just killed them, but brutally mutilated them. He tortured them as best he could, and most importantly, he did it while the victims were still alive. The sick bastard enjoyed the suffering of people. Then they found the body of another girl. And when the police almost caught him, the man set himself on fire, and before his death, left a message on the internet, "I will kill again." The hero wakes up again in Keki's arms, and today they have to go on a date that Eiji had completely forgotten about. It doesn't matter, because he finds 30,000 yen on his floor. Yes, it didn't bother him at all, considering that the guy is far from rich. During the date, the hero talks about his past. As a child, he had no friends. The guy was bullied because of his father, beaten. Kika supports him, and then he's going to support her on his own. Along the way, the hero finds out that this is not their first time. Yes, because today is the 3rd of November. From such information, the guy already had everything dropped. Now Eiji has finally decided to think, is everything all right with him at all? The first time he forgot the events of 3 days, now he missed 4. And again the guy meets this Ray. She says she noticed his strange behavior, and she knows someone else, Eiji.
Something is happening to you. You should have noticed the changes by now. Eiji, you have dissociative identity disorder. In other words, I suspect you have 2 personalities.
2 personalities.
The warning about the other Eiji, whom I will call By-One in the future, will continue to ignore By-One further. And this will lead to consequences.
Okay, wait. Why is it that I have a second personality? Hey, what the? Are you making a fool of yourself again? After that, Ray leaves, leaving the guy alone with his thoughts. Eiji thinks that By-One, his second personality, is not such a bad guy because he fucks bullies and glues girls. To begin with, the guy decides to write a note to his second self and finds an entry in the notebook that he did not make. "I'll kill again." And then, in his closet, he notices 30 million yen and a bloody bat. However, after asking around his friends, the hero found out that there had been no changes in him in recent days. That is, Eiji behaved as usual. Strange. And suddenly the police come to the hero. He is being asked about the case of the body that was found. The handwriting is like that of the hero's father, and therefore Eiji is the first suspect. That's what the victim looked like. Yoka. The guy doesn't know her, but witnesses say they saw the hero with her shortly before the murder. Then Eiji began to suspect that B1 appeared earlier than the 24th of October. Perhaps Giji just didn't notice it. However, apart from the testimony of witnesses, the police have nothing on the guy. Eiji answered what he had been doing 3 weeks ago and was released. And already at home, the hero finds Yoke's severed ear in his pocket. The hero is driven, remembers how as a child, his mother hanged herself in front of the child. Eiji throws Keku. He says he just used the girl, and now he's had enough. That's why he doesn't need it anymore. And no, it's not By-One. It's just that Eiji realized that because of By-One, his loved ones could be in danger, and he loves Kek and does not wish her harm. At first, Giji decided to call the police and confess everything, but changed his mind during the call. After all, I found a certain number in my notebook with the signature SAI hook. The hero called this number, and SAI immediately recognized him. He thanks the hero for something and invites him to lunch with him. Does Eiji still have hope that B is one good guy? According to the voice, Sai is a normal kid, not some kind of there. A bandit, for example. The police found recordings from cameras where Yoka, Eiji, and a man with a tattoo of rocks got into. The rocks are an unrealistically beaten gang. They even crossed the road with the Yakuza. And SAI is their head, who is taking Eiji into the gang right now. And now they are celebrating his entry in their club. And next to him sits a bound man with a severed ear and his sobbing girlfriend, who works as a prostitute on the rocks. Well, such a basic student lunch in Manga. The girl, by the way, is called us. Nice to meet you. As Eiji found out, Yoka was also a prostitute. A man gets fucked for stealing. Isaiah offers Eiji to show his torture skills to those sitting here, otherwise the locals have already doubted him. Something Giji does not look like a fucking cool type. The guy picks up a burner and starts burning the man's wound, but for a long time, and it wasn't enough. The hero immediately began to justify himself. He's like that with a serious fucker. The one who thinks only about causing pain in the process is a pathetic dilettante. Besides, torturing an unconscious bastard is like fucking a dead fish. And they believed him after all. Yes, he is a real psycho. I don't think it's worth explaining that at that moment I was on the verge of not shitting myself out of fear. Torture people. Are you fucking crazy? Eiji immediately asked for autographs, but the heat of passion did not end there, reminding about Yoko's. And brings a fucking dog into the room. Sai says that the other day they were robbed of 60 million yen. During the transportation of money, the attackers were 2 people in suits. Only a limited circle of people knew about the route, namely only those who are now in this room. One of the robbers is a calm Yoka, and the second is the owner of this watch found in Yoka's room. Oh yes, I forgot to tell you something. Billy loves to chew round and elastic objects such as balls and the like. Or, for example, someone's eggs. If he grabs it, he won't let go until he bites it off. So take care of your good guy. Billy, go ahead. I'm a corpse. So, I'm giving you one last chance to confess, yes. Me. I just told Yuka a little bit about money and nothing else. I really didn't know anything about the attack. I remembered. She had another boyfriend. Pet. He was in charge of everything. He's behind it all. I already know that, you fool. Your bills, your wifey's bills, your mother's stash, and even your dad's point. We have already checked everything, but the money was nowhere to be found. Yoko tricked you, and you fell for a sweet pussy, you moron piece. I've known all this for a long time. There's only one thing I want to know for myself. Did she tell you who this favorite is? Oh shit. It's rubbish. There is no doubt that it was Baiwan who planned the attack and encouraged Yoko to do it. It turns out that Baiwan is the favorite, and now it will be revealed. Pet, this. I do not know who he is. I'm sorry. Please. I've never let you down before. Please, Sai. When you're in hell, say hi for me, Yoko. Today is definitely Eiji's second birthday. Well, more precisely at his balls. The hero is all in thought. Why did Odin rob the rocks? How is he related to Yoko? And most importantly, who killed her? It turned out that it was not a rock. And again Feiji meets Rei. Yes, she's watching him again, and not only that, she blackmails the hero by finding an ear and money in his apartment. Yes, Chan picked the lock and snuck into his house. This is a skill Rei taught her uncle here. So, why all this? You ask. The girl is just interested. In any case, Eiji will now have to go everywhere with her and let her in on her business.
If you suddenly attack me, I'll shove it up your ass.
Now the heroes are in the hotel for sex, but they are here for another to talk to us, which Gigi called. And she immediately gives Eiji a dense beam, after which she calls him Yoke's killer. She hits the guy in the balls and starts crying, and with this time, they called the police for questioning. And during the interrogation, the tin that turned out. In short, the rocks have their own dating site for the rich. At least that's what he looks like. In fact, this is a site for illegal prostitution. Through this website, Eiji called Nami to him. Since he became a member of the Gang of Rocks, he can call any prostitutes to him, for free. According to Nami, she met Yoko at her job. She started working there out of stupidity, but she was no longer allowed to leave. That's when the girls began to communicate. Yoko supported us, and then Yoko had Eiji, and she was very happy about it. Yoko was telling her friend about how cool Eiji is. Yoko hoped that the hero would help her, save her from this slavery, but then she was killed. Yes, Nami called Eiji a murderer just because he didn't protect Yoke. Well, who really killed Yoke, fuck knows. Although there is still a clue, namely a certain guy, after meeting with whom Yoko stopped contacting. The girl helps the hero by telling all this because she considers him good. In addition, on the day when Sai asked Eiji to torture the guy with us, the hero cheated. He whispered in the man's ear so that he began to scream, as if he was in great pain, and then pretended to lose consciousness. So how do we still get to Yoke's last client? And not like on the website, rocks profiles of men without photos and real names. Fuck you. Although it is possible to win information from the rocks. I feel this is a bad idea, but nothing can be done. As Eiji found out, his personality changes when he falls asleep, and therefore you can just not sleep. And so the hero came back to the Club of Rocks. There he meets his bando's friends. There is no Saya, because he is in the police to begin with, the hero. Under the pretext of going to the toilet, finds the very door where he needs to get to. It is closed. Gigi photo and lock, and throws it off Ray. And suddenly Eiji notices. He justified himself, saying that he was looking for Tolkien and confused. And in order not to burn anymore, I sat down to play poker and lost 400,000 yen. Bandits. He also borrowed this money. The bandit. Well, in short, this is the kind of guy we have. Then Ray writes Gid, he took the key under the number 3. What kind of key? To break in the door. It's simple, you will need to insert the key and fuck it with a hammer. Then everything will open up. Well, a dog barked at Eiji, and he dropped the key into the drain grate. But the guy quickly took it out, did everything and entered the office. The computer is locked, the safe remains. But it's not so easy to open it, it will take a solution and 10 minutes of time. Besides, the Rocks will find out that the safe was opened. And suddenly, the same guy who set Eiji on fire decides to check out the office. The hero immediately says the raid would have started to execute the plan E. The man has already gone inside. When suddenly the fire alarm went off, fireworks started all over the club. Is this the plan? To stir up the fuss, so that she would quickly do all her business and hide. That's what Eiji did. I opened the safe and took it from the cartouche, from the camera that was lying there. The loss has already been noticed, and Eiji is the main suspect. There are photos of girls with clients on the memory card. They were made secretly. And here's that customer Yoko. Shibara Shiseda. His daughter 15 years ago became a victim of a maniac, and his wife committed suicide because of this. The heroes immediately found out that he works as a teacher at the university. SAI, I seriously suspect that this is the hand of Rashom Eiji. What do you think? I already know that. What? As well as the fact that Eiji was involved in the attack on the courier. What? Yes, it was Yoko who introduced us. That's why I invited him to dinner, where I executed the traitor. I wanted to see Eiji's reaction. If you knew, why didn't you do anything? Well, I was interested to see how the son of the legendary killer would behave in such a situation. Sai, this bastard ran over us on the rocks. And you're going to let him get away with it. Don't worry, Akaba. I've already got it all covered. Under the slogan, Sleep for Fuckers, Eiji went to Shibarashi. Meanwhile, the police came to Eiji's parents because he does not take the phone. And this, by the way, is not Eiji's own sister. They don't really show her to us. Well, that's fine. Kiji himself finally meets a man. And it turns out that they already know each other. Moreover, they had an agreement not to see each other until everything settles down, because they are criminals. It was Shibarasha, not Yoka, who was Eiji's partner in robbing the rocks. The guy immediately says that his rocks were tortured, beaten a lot, and therefore he lost his memory in recent days, and therefore came to find out everything. In short, robbing the rocks is by one's idea. For what? To destroy them. Why? To protect Yoke. And I killed Yoke as a result of SA. When Eiji first met the man, he started strangling him. But it turned out that Shibarashi met with Yoka to find out more about the rocks and destroy them, because the rocks are the legacy of. It was believed that it was also engaged in prostitution. Well, in the sense of running such a business, and not fucking for money. And all of his victims were prostitutes. Well, in short, then the men united and began to work together. Now about Yoko. On the day she disappeared, Shibarasha actually met her. They talked for about 30 minutes and the girl left. And when the guy went down to the parking lot, he saw Sai beating Yoke and dragging him somewhere. Shibarashi even filmed it. By the way, why are the rocks this legacy? It's simple. They show with all their appearance that they are imitating a maniac. Prostitution, the murder of a prostitute, torture, and even the name of their gang. Skull stands for I shall kill again. That is, I will kill the last words of Lagan. And as soon as the hero understood everything, a video message from Kashiwagi's best friend immediately comes to his phone. Sai was on his trail. The bastards came to the guy at work and began to extract information about badges. First, they deep-fried a rat alive, and then a cat. So, Eiji threw off the Vito's essay. Now this scum knows everything about our Mr. Kashiwagi has told everything. And about the girl, and about the family. Sai promises to ruin the hero's life. And so Sai makes a riddle of Eiji. Where will he go first? To the guy's family or to his girlfriend? Eiji immediately calls her father and asks him to call the police. But Kika doesn't pick up the phone. The guy borrowed the phone from the guy and went to the girl. But the hero is already sleepy. He hadn't slept for about 40 hours. That's why Eiji cuts his hand so that the pain won't let him fall asleep. The guy manages to be right on time, but there is nothing to oppose him, and therefore he obeys Sai's orders. The only trump card up his sleeve is Shibarashi's geolocated phone. That is, his plan is to hold out until the police arrive. Sai ties up the heroes, beats up Eiji, and takes his phone. Fuck you. Eiji is trying to bargain to exchange his life and Keki's life for a flash drive that he stole. And in general, if Sa touches them, then all the information from the flash drive will go online. That's just say deep fuck on the rocks. His goal is to kill Eiji. That's it. And all because Sai is a hard fanatic of, and he intends to kill Eiji so that he does not disgrace his father's name. The bastard took the guys to the forest. He takes Eiji to a boat with a human bone and maggots in it. The man stripped the guy and tied him up. Yes, many of you have probably guessed by now.
What are you doing with my Nikki?
Yes, Kika was able to get out of the car because she found a lighter there and burned through the things that held her hands. And now she's fucking bald. Then immediately hugs Eiji and cries. The bastard is still alive. The guys take the car keys and leave. A screamer. Kika immediately hit the gas pedal and crashed into a tree. The girl is passed out and Eiji gets pussy. But the police are already here. The hero coped. The man is twisted and charged for the murder of Yoke. You ask how? It's very simple. Before going to get a cupcake, Giji called Rei and told him everything. Tada also suggested that he take a GPS tracker with him and shove it better in the ass so that they wouldn't find it. However, Eiji did not want to use his thief's pocket and preferred to cut his hand and hide the tracker in the cut. Shibarashi went to the police, Eiji and Kika reconcile. The guy apologizes to her for his behavior and talks about his split personality. After that, the girl leaves to think about everything. And Rei tells the guy that Baiwan behaves exactly like Eiji, that is, completely copies his behavior. Chan even took it off on camera. How does he do it? Baiwan studied Eiji for a long time. The girl realized this after finding a huge number of bugs in the hero's room. Creepy, right? Keha says she likes Eiji and she will help him. The girl will study the behavior of B1 and report everything to Eiji when he regains consciousness. The hero calms down and falls asleep. This time, Seiji slept for 5 days. Sai had been arrested by then and would soon be tried. Other members of the rock gang were also tied up. Seiji's friends stopped communicating, and Kika says she couldn't find out anything about Baiwan. When the girl saw through him, he changed and told her not to meddle in his life. When she met Reita, she immediately realized that Eiji was in front of her. Because our hero has a habit of grabbing his earlobe during surprise, Keiji continues to have fun with Kika. And then he comes to the hospital. The guy wants to know what to do with his second personality. Only the nurse recognized him right away. At Dasham's, Eiji has already come here. And the guy just has a doctor's appointment for today. So also some strange peasant says that I saw Eiji here with some girl. Her name was Kika. But then the man begins to behave like a madman, and therefore it did not work out from him about the cupcake. The nurse says that Eiji came here alone last time. It's all strange. As the doctor says, Odin calls the hero by the last name Urashima. He himself prefers to call himself Hotina Eiji by the name of his own father. Bai came here alone to cure his split personality. But the doctor cannot disclose the details. The only thing he said was that he was still thinking about how to solve this problem. Then Kika invites the hero to visit and introduces him to his mother. And during a private conversation between Eiji and Keki's mom, it turns out that Kika is also adopted. She was adopted when the girl turned 7. It turns out that the fates of the heroes are similar. At home, the hero notices that an unknown number is calling Kik. The girl said it was mom. But Eiji googled the number and found out that it was the number of the same psychiatric clinic. This is definitely some kind of mistake. It was all a lie. But why is she doing this? Why is she lying to me?
Hello, are you alright?
Yes, good. I just have a stomach ache.
Mom's tempura must not have worked out very well this time. Now I'm going to give you a pill, and the pain will disappear in a moment.
Krapota, fuck. The next day, the guy decides to follow the girl, and indeed she went to a mental hospital. The guy yelled at the nurse not to fuck. How dare she lie to the hero? But she said that Kika regularly visits the clinic as a patient. Yes, it turned out inconveniently. But Eiji still can't calm down. So he gets into Kika's personal diary and notices a certain Aurora's house there, which Kika visited 2 months ago. There was nothing else suspicious there. Aurora's house is an orphanage. Eiji came there to ask about Kik. And now you're fucking sick of how serious it is. The hero is met by a woman who has been working here ever since Kika appeared here. Nothing is known about Keki's parents. No one knows who they are. The girl was taken to the shelter from the police. The baby was found in the park. It was obvious that she had been subjected to domestic violence. Kika grew up in a shelter, and in general everything was fine. But one day the shelter workers found a dismembered cat on a tree, and Kika, as if nothing had happened, took it off the tree. Her face didn't show a single bit of disgust. But that's it. The guy realized that Kika was just an unhappy child, just like him. Therefore, Eiji immediately ran to her, confessed to what he had been doing lately, and apologized. The guy wants to help the girl save her the same way she saved him. Kika cries and then takes him to one place, namely the apartment where she lived before the orphanage. And the girl begins her story. She was mistreated from the moment she was born. Keku was forced to live in this small closet. She was forbidden to leave there. Keki's mother was truly a sick scum. She beat the child and washed her in the washing machine. The girl's father just ignored it all, as did the older sister.
Here, Kika, this is for you. Look, Mom, she still smells bad. But how is it? I've been washing it all day today. It looks like there's nothing you can do about her, since her soul is so dirty. You'd better tell us how your test went. Rin-chan, I'm the first in the group again.
What are you?
That's what a mother's daughter means. I couldn't die. Even when I was choking myself and trying to smash my head, I couldn't get out of killing myself.
It's simple.
But then it became easier for me because a shining prince on a white horse appeared in my fairy tale.
A prince on a white horse.
Yeah, and that prince was your father.
My father? What?
That's right, your father. 15 years ago, he killed my older sister, and then my mother went after her without surviving the blow. Only the father remained. But he is a rather phlegmatic person, and he did not pose any danger. That's how I finally became free.
That's something like that. After that, Keku was sent to a shelter, and then you already know. And of course, Kika started dating Eiji only because he is the son of... The girl asks if the guy will be able to accept her after this. Gathering his strength, the hero says that he accepts her as she is. He's still willing to help her. And then the girl introduces Eiji to her father. Here he is, lying dead. Shibarashi. According to Kika, her father was a very gentle man and always followed his wife's instructions. If necessary, he beat his daughter. And 15 years later, he hasn't changed a bit. Only this time it was Keku who obeyed. The girl met him in September and, playing on her father's guilt for everything, immediately began to show him his place, forcing him to publicly humiliate himself, and he began to obey. He stole handbags for the girl, bought their old apartment, bought everything that Kika asked for, but then Shibarashi got tired. How much is possible? Hadn't he done enough to make amends? And then Kika asked him for one last favor, and Shibarashi began to communicate with Yoko. And the story that the man told Eiji about revenge for his daughter and all that was completely invented by Yoko. And all this was done just for the sake of Eiji, so that Kika could get him. On the day when Sai was beating Yoko and Shibarashi filmed it, Kika was with him and ordered him to follow Sai. Yoko managed to escape from the bastard, and Shibarashi took her, and Kyoka knocked out the poor girl. From the last task, Shibarashi was so shocked that he refused and left. Kyoka calmly let him go, knowing that his father would not be able to live without orders and would definitely return. The fact is that Shibarashi has a child psychological trauma. The author does not tell us anything in detail, but everything becomes clear from his father's fit. She was clearly bullying the child, and the only way to woo his mother was to complete her assignments. And then he found a wife who looked like his mother, and his daughter turned out to be the same. Sad. Therefore, Shibarashi returned to the apartment and did what was required of him, disfigured Yoko according to the methods of Wu. However, he did not do so well, and therefore Kika completed the case herself. The torture lasted about a week. Shibarashi committed suicide a few days ago, either unable to withstand the guilt of what he had done, or unable to live without orders. Why? Why did you do that?
Are you asking why I killed her for you? The whore wanted to take it away from you. I have.
That's not what I'm talking about. About how it all happened because of me. Because I am. Yoko-chan, all this time that you were with me, you saw in me only the son of a murderer. You cast an image on me just like everyone else. You've never considered me an ordinary person. Never? Am I really to blame for what happened, too? Did you want to be closer to me? And that's what it led to. You killed a man. Of course, my words will be drowned in the deep darkness that envelops her heart. They won't get to her? Yoko-chan, I'm sorry, but I can't accept what you did. I just don't know how. Yoko-chan, you and I need to go to the police.
I'd get it. I'd get you, Eiji. Then I'll kill you, Eiji.
The police can't prove Sai's guilt in the murder of Yoke in any way. And suddenly Rei comes to them. She tells about the disappearance of Shibarashi, as well as about her guesses about the oddities in the behavior of the man. For example, on the day of Yoko's murder, he was in a rented car. This girl's name is Momo, and the police started looking for a man, and went to the very apartment that he recently bought. There, the police found a pile of blood, a cut Keku, and Eiji with a knife in her hands. The hero surrenders to the police. Did B1 do it? While in custody, Eiji writes in his diary that there were no more personality changes. The hero denies his guilt in the murder of Keki. And suddenly, Rei came to the guy for an interview. She paid the security guard 30 million so that he wouldn't eavesdrop on their conversation. She took the very smooth money of the rocks. But why all this? To talk to B1. Yes, it's not our Eiji, and the girl immediately realized it. And because she finally wants to know everything. Eiji's face immediately changed. How did you know it was me? Rei asks if he killed Yoke. Well, he didn't kill her at all. The girl still survived and is now in a coma. But it doesn't change the essence. Eiji says that he did not do this, and moreover, Dasham has not appeared on Meiji for more than 10 days. And therefore the hero believes that Eiji is dead. Most likely something happened to him, but B1 is not aware of it. He calls Urashima an idiot. There were too many difficulties with him. Well, finally, the guy managed to regain control of his body. After all, Rashom Eiji has a personality that the hero created artificially 15 years ago. The conversation time is up. Rei cries for the lost Eiji, while the hero looks at the photo of his father and asks if he is doing everything right. Rei came Kiji again. This time, she blackmailed the guard by the fact that he had already taken a huge bribe from the heroine. If someone finds out about this, then he's fucked. Is she smart? Rei asks Eiji to continue his story. But the hero starts with something else. He talks about how a 5-year-old girl disappeared 15 years ago. At the same time, a student living with a girl in the neighborhood disappeared. According to the locals, these girls behaved like sisters, although they were not. The little girl returned home the next day, and the student was found mutilated. It was Shibara Shirin, Shibarashi's daughter, Keki's sister. The runaway girl was Rei. The hero wants to know what goals she pursues. Only after that he will talk, and Chan tells. She loved to climb abandoned buildings, and that day she found a mutilated Rin with a hole in her throat. This traumatized little Rei, and she could not tell the police anything. The girl still blames herself for that incident because she had a chance to save her friend. That's the reason for all her investigations, to atone for her guilt. And now let's find out about Eiji's story. The real Eiji. The kid had a very ordinary life. Friends, mom, loving dad. The hero was closest to his father. Tomorrow is Eiji's birthday, and dad promises that this time he will not stay at work and will come to his son for the holiday. But the police came. The father burned down in the house and was declared a maniac. Eiji began to bully. All that's left of dad is his gift and a letter promising to play together. The mother went crazy against the background of everything. She tried to kill the child and eventually committed suicide. Eiji has no one left. The whole world was against him. His dad couldn't have been a murderer. So, we need to find the real killer and take revenge on him in full. No one should know about Eiji's plan, and therefore you need to pretend to be an ordinary child. And so the personality of Uteshima Eiji was born. When the real Eiji found out what happened, he started learning. Read books in order to become smarter as soon as possible. The hero did all this at night while his second personality was sleeping. Meanwhile, his uncle, the future adoptive father, Urashima, began to look after the boy. And one day his daughter found a Weiji sheet where he learned to write words like a criminal. Tian immediately ran to dad with this piece of paper in order to find out what was written there. But no one should know Eiji's secret, so he hit the girl and hid the leaf. But Rashom did not get angry, but on the contrary, gave his son the last gift from his dead father. By the way, Eiji also visits Rashom. He believes in his innocence. As a result, Rashom adopted Eiji, and he mutilated his sister's doll so that she would no longer meddle in his affairs. He threatened to kill her. The boy grew up, and when the second personality developed to sleep, he studied the case. And he also studied behavior from Rashima Eiji in order to act not only at night. The hero thoroughly studied each victim of Will, but eventually came to a dead end, and that night friends called the Heroes Club of Rocks. That's where he met Yoke.
Yoka, did you at least warn me that you were coming? It doesn't matter. Listen, we were just having a drink here with the students. They look so cute. But it turns out that among them is the son of some maniac. Guess what? The son of a maniac. Well and good. Let him kill me.
These words hooked the guy, and then he saw the slogan of the rocks and realized that he was repeating the last words of it. Then a plan matured in his head. Get into the rocks, find out as much as possible. And here's a new lead. All the victims of it were prostitutes and worked with clients through a special website, White Child. This service was run by Eiji's father. There were rumors that the clients could be very important people, such as officials, police officers. And there was a secret list with these very customers. However, this list does not appear in the investigation of the case, which is why the list was lost. So the real killer had great power and most likely was listed in this very list of Alice the Rock site is literally the same. By interviewing people who worked on the White Child site, the hero found out that the list of clients really existed. Then the hero found out about his father's right hand. about a certain Hanasaka. It was he who escaped with a list of clients. And 2 years after the death of his father, Giji Hanasaka disappeared. There are rumors that Hanasaka extorted money from one of the clients from the list, and he killed him. Giji even got a photo of Hanasaki in his youth. There he is next to the hero's father. At the same time, the rocks were born. After learning everything, the guy decided to get closer to Yoko, promising her to escape from the rocks. And everything went very well. The girl fell in love with the guy, and he just used her to get deeper into the rocks. Tian brought him with Sai. And after learning that the hero was L's son, the man immediately took him to work, giving his number. On the same piece of paper that I found at Rasham Eiji's. On Eiji. The puzzle is slowly starting to take shape, and I like it. Then Giji learned from Yoke information about the root of the courier rocks, carrying a lot of money.
Understand, you will not destroy the entire rock alone. Even if you try, it's too dangerous. If we have a lot of money, we can run far away and start a new life. Just the two of us. I really don't want to have anything to do with the search anymore. If only I could just be there for you. That's all I need.
Thank you, Yoko. I want that too. But you know I'm worried about you. A lady then. Well, I don't need this woman anymore. You don't have to go that far for me anymore. Looks like it's time to get rid of her. Then Eiji met Shibarashi, and Yoko found out that Eiji wants to destroy the rocks not out of love for Yoko, but out of his personal motives.
It turns out that the Ella you were talking about is your real father. It turns out that there is another reason besides me why you are eager to destroy the rocks. So you got close to me in order to use me for your own purposes. Well, then use me. Hey Chan, even if I don't know what your goals are, but if that's how I'm going to be useful to you, use me. If that's how you stay with me, then I agree. I agree.
That was the last time I saw Yoke. You already know what happened next. As a result, Eiji was never able to get close to the real killer. Yoko died, and the hero realized that he actually had feelings for Yoko. He just didn't notice it, and when he realized it, it was already too late. At the trial, Eiji confessed that he wanted to find the real, and for this he made his way to the rocks. But now he finally realized that there is no real. He just didn't want to believe that his father was a maniac. The hero did not kill Yoko, but confessed to the attack on Keku. He did it out of revenge. The police know that Yoko killed Kek. Giji is not going to appeal the court's decision. He is ready for any outcome. And all because he escaped from prison. A wanted hero. He recalls how he suffered when he learned of Yoke's death. It started at the end of October, when Rasham Eiji began to slowly lose control of his body, yielding to the original Eiji. The hero shaved. Flashback shows us how, out of spite with the loss of Yoke, the hero hit the bully and inadvertently saved Keku. On the same days, Kika coolly mocked Yoko and drank coffee. Now Eiji has snuck into Keki's room, drugging the guard. He took out a knife and held it to the girl's throat. Fuck.
Welcome back. Achino and Eiji. They say I didn't manage to kill you.
And then they show us how Giji woke up in the hospital. It was the day after the police captured Saya, and Udashima Eiji confessed to Keki his split personality. That is November, the days when Deshima Eiji fell asleep and Baiwan woke up. And as it turned out, Kika already knew about everything at that time. And in fact, the girl was on the side of Hatina Eiji, on the side of Baiwan. She helped him by telling him all the information for the past days. And then he found Yoko's ear and immediately went to find out all of Barashi's ears. Because no one else knew about Eiji's connection with Yoko. And at that moment, Kika came and put the hero to sleep. Kika has already found out how Eiji was able to create a second personality, and her main goal is to prove to Eiji that his father is ill. And moreover, he should be proud of it. Now Kika intends to combine the hero's personalities into one, and the first thing she does is to throw a sleeping pill at the guy. Baiwan came to himself with a knife in his hands and in a pool of blood. Kika was lying on top. Teka, hey, what happened? Teka, hey, chick, who hurt you? Is this Yoshim? No, he wouldn't hurt a fly. It's impossible. I know him. I know it very well. There's no way this Hiroshima guy is going to attack a human. Teka, answer me. Who did this? Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, a serial killer. He attacked you. What do you mean by that? Yoka, who? Oh, who is he? Father, I knew. I knew you were innocent. Oh, he wanted to put the blame on me, just like he did with his father. All right, I'll play your game. He thinks that if I am arrested and found guilty, then I will not be able to find him and take revenge. I'll find you, no matter what it takes. Currently, Kika is asking the hero to give her a paper with a pen so that she writes his real name. But it was fucking. I pressed the staff call button. Eiji had to jump out the window. That's just what Eiji had planned. After all, he fulfilled. He put a hidden camera in a plush toy in order to keep an eye on the cupcake and wait. Wait for it to come to her. And it will surely come to finish off Keku, because she can give all the information to the police. The hero is already coming Rei. She was watching Eiji. As it turned out, Eiji escaped partly thanks to Rei. He put pressure on the guard, to whom Rei bribed, and he left for a couple of minutes, giving Gigi time to escape. The guy talks about his guesses. Most likely, Kika found out the identity of the real in the interval from the 14th to the 18th of November. Rei will try to find out what the heroine was doing these days, and Eiji will look for a list of clients. Suddenly, Momoi bursts into the room. She also tracked down the hero by following Rei. But the girl is here to help. Momoi overheard the conversation of the heroes and will now tell her story about what happened 15 years ago. Then the girl also worked in the police. The location of Hachino was established, but the house was already on fire. However, the man was still alive and tried to get out. In the hand of his corpse, the girl found a photo of her son, they immediately closed it, hanging all the sins on Hachino, but Momo did not understand how this was possible. A more thorough investigation was required, but the girl was stopped. And for the last 15 years, Momo has been thinking about it to this day. And if there is a chance that Hachino is still innocent, then the real criminal needs to be caught. The girl gives the hero 3 days to find the real. This is all she can do, and the heroes decide to change their plan. Eiji learned from Moma that the police received an anonymous denunciation of the whereabouts of the hero's father 15 years ago. There was also a witness who claimed to have seen Katina. And before the anonymous call, only for some reason, these indications were ignored. The witness is a grandmother. We need to find out who exactly she testified to. Rei will handle it. Now about the list of clients. Momo also believes that there was a person in the police on the side of Lu, in whose interest it was to hide that very list, which is why the case was quickly hushed up. This is Saruvatari, the director of police. Momo had been his partner in the past. Now he was supposed to meet his daughter, but Momo takes the man with her, without saying where they are going. And along the way, the heroes remember the old days. How Momo came to the police 15 years ago, and how Saruvatari was fucked up by her fighting nature. Thanks to her extraordinary actions, the girl coped very well with the work, although she often received a scolding from her superiors. And so Momo brings the director to the forest. Kiji. Eiji immediately accuses the man of murdering his father, and also of murdering Hanasaki. Momo also adds that 15 years ago, a DNA fragment was found at the scene that did not belong to the victims, not to Kotina. And if it turns out that it belongs to the director, then Eiji's version will be confirmed. The man pulls out a gun, but Momo forces him to put down the weapon. Eiji's taking it. Did you kill 2 people to hide your connection with prostitution? For the sake of protecting your own skin. Accused my father of the murders. Did you turn my father into a maniac? Or is prostitution just the tip of the iceberg? Isn't there a more serious motive behind this? For example, because it's you. Serial killer. Did my father find out who you really are? Ask your dad in hell. The hero is shot by mom. What? It turns out, mom and at the same time with the man. They catch up with Reina, who threatens that she has recorded everything on video and is ready to post it. To buy Momo time and tell his story to the end. As it turned out, there was some kind of love spark between mom and her partner. But that's not the point. When the police started looking for Hachino as a suspect, Momo received the letter. There were photos of Momo and a certain girl in it. Then she was sent a letter again, and it got into Sarawatari. In addition to the photos, there was also a message. Allegedly from Katina in it, the man threatens that if he is captured, he will merge the photos. And if the girl does not want this, she must leak information about the investigation to him. The partners discussed everything. Sarawatari supported the girl. Mom, and says she had no idea that the girl was a prostitute and worked for Hanasaka. Remember that name, right? Most likely, Hachino specifically sent a prostitute to blackmail a policeman like that now. Sarawatari decides to help, and for this Hachinoi should not be caught. Therefore, when the old woman came, the man listened to her and found her Hatina. Eiji's father assured the policeman that he was not guilty of anything. But the photos of Momo and next to him said the opposite. The man didn't care about the excuse. Hatinoi tried to resist because he promised to come to his son's birthday, to his dear Eiji. The policeman strangled him with Hotina, then poured gasoline over the house and set it on fire. He also called the police with an anonymous denunciation. The man didn't tell Momo about it, but she guessed it herself by checking his DNA, with the DNA found in the photo. The girl was sad to realize that Eiji's father could be innocent, but there was nothing to be done. And then the heroine came, the same Hanasaka. He wanted to continue blackmailing her. The girl killed him in the alley. Mom, and it's hard, she understands that she is to blame. And suddenly Eiji comes up to her with a knife. The hero had a bulletproof vest all this time. He put it on just in case because he doesn't trust anyone, even Rei. Now the hero will take revenge. But mom doesn't give up. She throws a shoe at him and attacks. The girl knocks the gun out of his hands. A man shoots a phone flight video. Eiji takes a knife and gets pussy again. Yes, and grabs a gun, but it's knocked out by a cop. In the process, everything went to the pussy. But Eiji plunges a knife into Momi, then something whispered to him and fell off the bridge. Eiji is at a loss. Moma falls with a sincere smile on her face because her hell, in which she is mired, will finally end. Saru Watari, after seeing her friend's death, kills herself. Eiji is angry. He couldn't properly take revenge on these bastards for the death of his father. They didn't know a grain of that pain. In addition, the hero has again reached a dead end. Rei asks Eiji, after finding the real and killing him, will the hero's revenge end? The guy is being driven. Is he doing everything right? It is already known about the murder of policemen, and it is believed that our Eiji is to blame for this, because they began to search for him even more actively. The hero has laid low and lives with homeless people who sheltered him for money. Well, Keki never came, which is very strange. Trying to find out what Kika was doing in those days when she learned the identity of Gigi came to her foster parents' house. There's nothing useful in the room. And suddenly Keki's foster father comes into the apartment. Eiji immediately began to interrogate him and found out that on November 15th, she did not spend the night at home, but went somewhere in her father's car. The man says that if he knew what kind of cake really was, he would never have adopted her. In the father's car, the hero finds a check from the store for the 15th. And here's a new lead. It takes 2 hours to get to the right place. It's dangerous to take the subway. Cycling in the snow is not an option. Rei doesn't pick up the phone. Therefore, the hero goes to his friend Kashiwagi. He is not particularly enthusiastic about the unexpected meeting in his own car. Age makes him go. Kashiwagi immediately realized that Age really has a split personality. As they said on TV, Kashiwagi says that he will never forgive the hero for his mutki from the rocks, because then he got badly hurt. Arriving at the store, Gigi forces a friend to ask the sellers about the cupcake. And she really was there. So somewhere nearby, she found out about. In the store, Eiji almost found out, but suddenly he covered it up, calling it the name of a famous athlete. He did it for his Eiji, for the Eiji he knew. Having tied up Kashiwagi, the guy drove on. A friend asks Eiji to let him talk to Hiroshima Eiji, but he ignores him. Eiji anonymously called the police to the area, passing information about Keek. The police will sniff out everything faster, and the guy will only have to steal information. You said you wanted to apologize to Hiroshima Eiji. He said he would like to help him. That's not exactly what I am. He's dead. Hiroshima Eiji is dead. He is no longer in this world. That is, how is it not there? Is Eiji dead? But you're here right now, in front of me. Hiroshima Eiji is the person I gave birth to 15 years ago. He was a tool that I created for my own purposes. And as soon as he stopped being useful, he just disappeared. It sounds clearer this way. Don't lie to me. How is Eiji dead? Stop talking nonsense. Eiji's still in there, right? So, shocking, right? To find out that the one you considered your friend is not even a person in the full sense of the word. Shut your mouth. Eiji is a man, he has a soul, a heart. Him. The Ajik is mine. The hero hits Kashiwagi, he cries, and then refuses to continue helping the guy. Eiji aims at a friend, and he says that after shooting, Eiji will not be very different from. The hero leaves, taking Kashiwagi's car. He again became confused and mired in self-reflection. And then, he notices a missed call from Rei, and sees that his camera in Keki's room is looking the wrong way. After rewinding the recording, the guy saw that someone came to Keki's room and killed her. Rei had been conducting her investigation in parallel with the heroes all these days. And on the day when Keku was supposed to be transferred from the hospital for questioning by the police, Keku was attacked. Rei immediately noticed a suspicious person, and, following him, found out that this person had come to Eiji's house. The killer was Otto, Eiji's stepsister, the same girl that the guy threatened many years ago. The police immediately came to her. The girl was arrested. Otto immediately admitted her guilt. The girl says it all started in November when she first met Kyoka. Otto saw Eiji as happy as he had never been. Then she realized that she could finally take revenge on her brother, destroy the most valuable thing he has. After all, this bastard ruined her life. It was she who attacked Kika on the day Kika destroyed the identity of Hiroshima Eiji. And now the girl is very glad that she was finally able to take revenge on her brother. If you suddenly didn't understand, in the past, when Eiji intimidated the girl, the psyche was broken, she became antisocial. And her whole life went down the pussy. For this, Chan takes revenge. And Eiji at this moment realizes that all this time he was chasing not the real, but Otto. It turns out that the real really never existed. It's hard for the hero to realize all this, to understand that he has been chasing a ghost for all these 15 years. And he has doomed his sister to a terrible life. A month has passed. The head of the Hiroshima family comes to the police every day, but he is denied a date with his daughter. Eiji still hasn't been caught. And the police also had a version that Hachinoi could still be innocent. When he comes home, the man notices a cut on his arm. Somehow he didn't notice it. And suddenly he notices Eiji. The hero says he came to apologize. After that, he will go to the police, but first, he wants to talk it out. Eiji tells his adoptive father that all these 15 years, he lived only dreaming of revenge. He apologizes for using Hiroshima, because even while in the shelter, he specifically wrote letters to the man and pressed for pity, so that he was adopted and the investigation went faster. He confessed that he had threatened Otto and ruined her life. It's bad for my father to hear all this. And then the hero notices his father's wound. Interestingly, my father always managed to get hurt somehow. Even in all the photos, he is bandaged. Why do you think tortured the victims before killing them? Why, you ask, why now? Torture. He brought his victims to the highest point of pain before killing them. It was signature handwriting. Why was so obsessed with torture? I believe couldn't feel the pain, and instead he was hurting others. I didn't feel it. Pain? Yeah. For example like this. It's you, serial killer. And how should I react to a similar situation? Tell me, Eiji, enlighten me, what does it feel like to feel pain? Rashim stopped feeling pain about a year before the incident. From that moment, the man began to get injured. The problem is related to brain dysfunction, but doctors have not been able to explain why this happened. Eiji explains that he watched that video of Keki's murder a lot of times and noticed how she was reaching out somewhere. Deciding to test his guess, he came to her room. Kika was reaching for the table, under which there was a note with a phone number. Eiji found out that on the 15th of January, Kika came to a certain Saudi. She knew Kika. The girl asked Saudi about the times when she lived in Hokkaido 15 years ago. Kika was interested to know about the girl who worked for Saudi at that time. She worked for only 2 or 3 days and disappeared. And this is what she looked like. This is Shibara Shirin, Keki's sister, the last victim of. The official version is that the girl was seen on camera with Hachina, and then she disappeared. She was held in an abandoned factory, tortured her for a long time, and then killed her. In the same year, Rashim and his family were in Hokkaido, 1,000 kilometers from the scene of Rin's murder. It was Rishima's alibi. Here's just this photo of Rin, taken on the date when she was supposed to be tortured at the factory, and the girl in Hokkaido. However, Little Ray still saw Rin at the drop-off. It wasn't Rin, but the killer's 6th victim. He specifically chose her to look like Rin in order to create an alibi for himself. He planted all of Rin's documents with this girl. Then he went to Hokkaido, caught Rin, tortured and killed, and then brought the body and replaced it with the body of the 6th victim. How? By car. He specifically told the family that he would stay for work, sent the family by plane, and he returned later with the body in the trunk. That's how it was. Brilliant work. Well done. You really are my son. Kika most likely intuitively realized that Rashim had seeing his wounds when she came to their house. But above all, she had this phone number, which she kept for many years. So she was able to find out everything. The hero found out where the girl had this number from. He searched her apartment and found a piece of paper identical to the one torn from the number. Keki has had this piece of paper since childhood, and she received it from her sister before she ran away. Rin was very ashamed of everything, and she gave the number so that Kika could also escape later. Now about Rin's disappearance. Eiji's real father was really involved in this. Hachino took her to Hokkaido, but only because he firmly believed that he was helping the girl to improve her life. Saves from prostitution. Hachino and Urashima have already helped so many. Hachino also drives the girls, and Urashima had to look for work and housing for them. That's just Urashima came up with all this in order to get new victims without a hitch. And Hachinoya believed that redeeming his past sins in this way saves the girls. That's why the hero's father was always on camera with the victims. That's why all the victims are prostitutes. Urashima says that he didn't just kill because he didn't feel pain. He was not like everyone else since childhood. It just started to progress over the years, and the absence of pain became a kind of push. Makoto Hachinoya, on the other hand, has become a convenient person on whom you can push everything. Urashima framed him. It was he who sent letters on behalf of Hachino and to the police. He brought the hero to the house with evidence, firm where Hachinoya did not come out alive. And now about Eiji. At first wanted to kill him, but then he noticed hatred for the whole world and a split personality in him. Yes, he knew from the very beginning. I knew that Eiji would take revenge and wanted to see it all from the front row, so I adopted him. So they played the roles of father and son. As Urashima says, Kiko was the first to contact him, and they agreed to meet on November 18th at her house. The girl planned to reveal to Eiji the truth about the real. But everything went wrong, and Otto attacked Keku. It came when Eiji was already tied up. Eiji starts to lose his temper. He can't hold back anymore. What's more interesting, it was based on Hachino's tattoo that Deshima came up with the name. The man laughs. He noticed that the hero was recording their conversation on a dictaphone, but would he really hand him over to the police, and not kill him with his own hands? The hero knocks down a man, then pulls out a gun. You're a dead man. I've been thinking for a long time about exactly what the final act should look like. What should be the denouement of my greatest creation? The story of a fake killer. How lucky I was to meet you. Even though we are not of the same blood, I still consider you my own son, as if I raised you from birth. To die at the hands of his child, like the king, and killed by his son Oedipus. Finally, after 15 long years, the truth will be revealed to the world. Delicious. Here it is, the perfect ending for the tale I created. Ray walks into the room. All this time she was eavesdropping. The hero didn't kill his father. After all, he's not going to be like that bastard. Scum will answer before the law. The hero screams, it hurts like hell for his own father. The police arrested Eiji. He provided the recording of the dictaphone to the police. A year has passed. Eiji goes to trial. Kika is alive, the doctors have saved her again. And the first thing the hero tells is how Kika killed the second identity of Eiji. Keki's goal was to reunite the guys' personalities together. On the same day, she told Eiji that his adoptive father. It was with Rashom Eiji, not by alone. It was hard for the hero to accept all this. Kika says that she went to a mental hospital just to find out how to connect two personalities. She pretended to be the same as Eiji in front of the doctor, and so she found out the necessary information. However, there was a great risk that the second person would disappear. And so it happened. The girl put pressure on the hero, telling him the truth that he is an artificial person. This broke the guy, and the identity of Rashom Eiji was erased. A criminal case was opened against Eiji's adoptive father. In addition, Momoe's materials help in the investigation. Before her death, she whispered to Gigi about a DNA test that proved that Hachino was killed by her boss. Eiji's own father's innocence was finally proven. And the memory of his second personality is slowly returning to Eiji. Rei gives Keki a letter from Eiji. From that Eiji who is no longer there, who still loved her. Kika tore it up. At the second hearing, it turns out that Eiji's second personality did not completely die then. Eiji then said that he understood Keku. She just wanted to be loved, not to be rejected again. The hero understood this perfectly well because he himself went through such a thing. He hugged Kyuka and said he forgave her, after which he deliberately erased his identity for Kyuka's sake. And then Gigi added that Kika deliberately wanted to let the hero kill faster, so that the by-one personality would finally be satisfied and disappear because her goal was only revenge. Then after that, I came back to Rashom Eiji, but he won't come back because Kika killed him. The girl in the courtroom began to laugh hysterically and then cry. Rei the guy says that he didn't kill and only because he realized that hatred begets hatred. Besides, at Dashim's, Eiji would never have done that. The hero sent a letter to his foster mother, where he apologized for everything, including Otto. Rashima Kichi, the hero's adoptive father, was sentenced to death. Kika glued a letter to Eiji. She is now in prison for the murder of Yoke. There she realized that by her actions she had driven herself into captivity again. She's living in that closet again, cut off from the world. Reiji was released after 2 years in prison. Rei meets him and gives him a business card just in case. She founded her own detective agency. And then the girl scares the hero with a firecracker, and he grabs his earlobe. So Teiji is still alive. He is alive inside the hero. Sai is in jail as a result. Urashima is preparing for death. Otto is also in prison. And Eiji accidentally met Kashiwagi and apologized to him, and Kashiwagi said that he had forgiven him for a long time. Eiji himself works together with a right detective, and that's where Manga ends. That's the story that turned out. As a result, everything ended well. Everyone got what they deserved and the real was caught. In general, I really liked this story. According to Vibe, it somehow reminded me of a cruel happy ending and an empty flower. It was damn interesting to read. The author managed to keep me in suspense throughout the title. And I was guessing until the last one who the real was and never guessed. Write in the comments about your emotions about this work. Please like and subscribe to the channel so that this video is promoted better. This is very important to me. I'll see you in the following videos.